Put your hands where I can see them! That's the first thing I heard when I stepped out of my car that morning. Red and blue lights flashed across my driveway. Neighbors peeking through curtains. And there she was, Karen. Standing tall with her arms crossed, phone in hand, smirking like she'd just caught a criminal. I had no idea what was going on. 1 minute I was unloading groceries. The next, 2 officers were questioning me like I'd just robbed a bank. Karen shouted from across the street. "That's him! That's the guy who stole my package and broke into my garage last night." I froze. "What are you talking about? I don't even know you!" But Karen was on a roll. She told the officers she had video evidence, that I'd been sneaking around her property. The crowd forming behind her was eating it up. The officers exchanged a look, skeptical, but obligated to check. They asked for my ID. I handed it over, still stunned, trying to explain that I'd lived in this neighborhood for years, that I'd just returned from a night shift. But Karen wasn't backing down. She waved her phone, showing grainy footage of a man, wearing dark clothes, moving near her driveway. "See?" she said, voice trembling with self-righteous fury. "That's him!" The cop turned to me. "Sir, we just need to verify a few things. Mind if we take a quick look around?" At that point, what could I say? I nodded. My heart pounded as they opened my trunk. Groceries, work bag, nothing else. But Karen's expression didn't change. She looked convinced. Then one officer leaned closer to her. "Ma'am, can we take a look at your garage, just to confirm what was stolen?" Karen hesitated just for a second. Then she nodded. Of course. I could feel something shift. Her confidence cracked, just a little. The officers led her back toward her house. I followed, silent, uneasy. What happened next would flip the entire story upside down. Because when they opened her garage door, the truth didn't just come out, it exploded. The moment the garage door creaked open, the smell hit us first. Musty, oily, and strangely familiar. Then the light flickered on, revealing chaos. Boxes everywhere, bikes stacked in corners, half-broken furniture, and a giant tarp in the middle of the floor. Karen hurried ahead, waving her hand. "See? That's where my stuff was taken from. He must have brought it back when he saw the cops." The officers exchanged a look, one quietly jotting notes while the other moved toward the tarp. "Ma'am, can you show us exactly what's missing?" Karen hesitated again. Yes, it was a pressure washer, a leaf blower, and a couple of power tools." Her voice quivered. I stood outside, feeling a mixture of anger and confusion. Why was she so eager to blame me? We'd barely spoken before this day. She'd only moved into the neighborhood a few months ago, but she'd already filed complaints against 2 other families. Noise, parking, unauthorized pets. Classic HOA Karen. The officer lifted the tarp. Everyone froze. There, beneath the dust and shadows, was a pile of boxes, each stamped with Amazon or Home Depot labels, and none of them looked opened. The officer picked one up, scanned the tag, then looked at Karen. "Ma'am, this package isn't addressed to you." Karen blinked. "What?" He showed her the label. "This belongs to the same address as his." He pointed straight at me. I stepped forward, stunned. "That's my name." The officer opened another box. Same thing. My name, my address, my stuff, the missing packages I'd reported weeks ago. Karen's confident smile melted into panic. That's not possible. I thought someone must have—" "Ma'am," the officer interrupted, voice stern now. "Why do you have these packages in your possession?" She stammered. "I thought they were misdelivered." "I was going to return them." The second cop shook his head. "Some of these are opened, ma'am." Silence. You could hear the distant hum of lawnmowers down the street. But in that garage, nothing moved except the officers writing notes. Finally, one officer turned to me. "Sir, it appears you're not the suspect here." He handed me back my ID, his tone apologetic. "We'll need to ask a few more questions, but it looks like this is going to be her issue." Karen's face went pale. "Wait, you don't understand. He set me up. But no one was listening anymore. The officers were already pulling out evidence bags. Karen's voice cracked as she tried to explain, her words tumbling out faster than her excuses could keep up. "I was just holding them. I didn't mean to keep anything. I thought maybe he ordered too much and—" "Ma'am," the officer interrupted, calm but firm, "these boxes were reported stolen 2 weeks ago. From his porch. You never contacted him or the carrier service. Care to explain why they're still sealed and in your garage?" Her face flushed crimson. "You don't understand! Everyone knows he's shady. He works nights, he's always sneaking around. He doesn't even wave back when I say hello." The officer sighed, scribbling on his notepad. "That's not exactly a crime, ma'am. I couldn't hold back anymore. You accused me of theft, called 911, embarrassed me in front of my entire neighborhood. And you're the one who's been stealing my mail?" She snapped her head toward me, eyes wide, trembling with fake outrage. "Don't talk to me like that! You people think you can just—" The officer raised a hand sharply. Enough! This conversation is being recorded. That shut her down instantly. Her shoulders stiffened. She looked small now, like the air had been punched out of her. The second officer stepped closer to me. Sir, we'll need you to confirm what's missing. Do you recognize these items? I pointed one by one. My new drill, my home security camera set, a box of house lights I never got around to hanging. Everything I'd been waiting for. Everything she had claimed was hers. The realization hit the officers at the same time it hit me. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was deliberate. She'd been watching my deliveries, taking what she wanted, then blaming others to cover her tracks. One officer muttered quietly to the other. We might need to check her HOA complaint file. Could be a pattern here. Karen's confidence completely crumbled. No, you can't do this to me. I'm a community member. I have rights. Ma'am, the officer said, motioning toward his car. You also have stolen property. You're going to need to come with us. As they led her away, she twisted around and glared at me. This isn't over! I'll make sure the HOA hears about this. I looked her straight in the eye and said calmly, They already did. You just showed them who you really are. Her words echoed as the police car doors slammed shut. The flashing lights faded down the street. And for the first time in what felt like hours, the neighborhood went quiet. I stood there in disbelief. My packages, my name cleared, and Karen being driven away in the back of a squad car. Neighbors began stepping out of their homes one by one, whispering to each other. The same people who'd watched me get accused minutes. Ago now stared in shock. Mrs. Thompson, from next door, shook her head. I knew something was off about that woman, she murmured. Always spying on people, always filing complaints. I managed a weak smile. Guess she finally picked the wrong neighbor. One of the officers stayed behind to finish the paperwork. We'll file this as recovered property, he explained. You'll get everything back once the case is logged. She's likely facing charges for theft, false reporting, and harassment. I nodded, still processing everything. Thank you, officer. Honestly, I didn't even think I'd ever see this stuff again. He gave me a half smile. It's rare that we catch someone this bold. You did the right thing by staying calm. As he drove off, I looked around at the quiet houses. The same cul-de-sac that suddenly felt different, lighter. Like the weight of her constant complaints, her nosy attitude, her control, had finally lifted. But the real surprise came 3 days later. The HOA president, Mr. Duncan, showed up at my door holding a file. We got wind of what happened, he said. Turns out Karen had filed over 20 false complaints against various homeowners, including you. Noise, lawn violations, even illegal parking. We're removing her from the HOA board permanently. I could hardly believe it. The same woman who thought she owned the neighborhood was now banned from its decisions entirely. A week later, I checked my mail. Every package exactly where it should be. A small thing, but it felt like victory. Then, one evening, I caught a glimpse of her moving truck pulling away. No dramatic scene this time. No shouting. No phone in hand. Just silence. Karen was gone. I took a deep breath, stepped into my driveway, and for the first time in months, it actually felt like home again. I learned something that day. Sometimes, you don't have to fight people like Karen. You just have to let the truth do the talking, and eventually, it screams louder than any accusation ever could. If you enjoyed this crazy HOA Karen story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, so you never miss a wild neighborhood drama. Drop a comment below telling us what you would do if this happened to you. And don't forget to, if you love these shocking real-life stories.